Oh, okay. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This Barbara and Ami's pop-up Zoom, and we do whenever we feel like. And I hope you have fun with it. And then I want to make this as an interactive meeting, so you can turn on your mic and jump in anytime you have a question or anything. So, okay, let's get going. I will start first. Today, I will speak about, I focus on the house because of the tables I made about a month ago, I think, distribute to people that I know. And, you need to know about house if you want to do that. And if it's a good thing to know, because when you start learning astrology, what the house is about is often not explained well, and maybe you learn later. But it's a confusing part, so I like to explain it today. And then after that, Barbara will get into the interpretation of Pluto transition and the Saturn and what this means in, we have Pluto in Aquarius and Saturn in Pisces right now. Okay, so let's get going. So I'm gonna start sharing the screen now. Okay. Okay, so I said I'll talk about house first, but I just want to do this quick introduction about this Lyrid meteor shower. I just found out yesterday that this is happening right now in a 2 weeks window, the meteor shower that you can see more in the northern sky right now. And the amazing thing is that in this 2 weeks window, yesterday and today is the peak. So we are right in the middle today having this meeting, and I and Barbara are worrying about Mercury retrograde, but hopefully it goes well. And I guess we are meant to be having a meeting in the middle of a meteor shower. And the message this meteor shower brings us is beautiful. So I just wanted to quickly explain this to you, the discovery of me from yesterday. And so Lyrid meteor shower, why it's called Lyrid meteor shower? Because this meteor shower is can be seen by the radiation, the radiance, sorry, that coming from constellation of Libra, specifically this Vega constellation. I think this is like seventh brightest star in the sky, I guess. So because of the light coming from this Vega, we can see this meteor shower. That's why it's called a Lyrid meteor shower. And so here, typically the best time is to see this is between midnight and dawn, because of the radiant comes from this Lyra constellation. Vega is start showing up at the horizon in the northeast just before midnight. So this is the best time to start seeing this meteor shower. So that's why it shines more between the midnight and dawn. Okay, and then this time, this meteor shower, it's good to see because it comes with a new moon. We had new moon on 20th, so we have the very minimum of a moonlight in the sky. So that helps a lot to see this meteor shower. But unfortunately, for the people on the southern hemisphere, you can still see this, but it's a lot of it's fewer, because Lyra constellation itself is located up in the very north. So the people on the northern hemisphere can see this a lot better. And if you are a sky watcher, you may want to try this tonight if you have a nice weather. But here in Canada, where I live, it's raining, so probably it's hard to see. And yes, today is the best day to see this little bit meteor shower in the northern sky. So I put this image here. So I don't know if you can locate where the Lyra constellation is, but the light comes from northeast. So that's kind of give you idea. But even if you can locate Lyra constellation, this meteor shower is not seen there. You just have, it will be a bit away, like I'm showing on this picture. Oh, I can use this one, the new feature that I discovered. Here you go. Yeah, so this is the constellation, and whoops, I can't let this person in. Sorry, I'm doing the double duty. Okay, anyway, so yeah, the meteor shower will be a little bit away from this constellation. And just gonna cut this. Okay. And so what I thought about beautiful about this meteor shower happening right now is that there's a message for this meteor shower, which is here. So it's yesterday night, today it's a celestial fireworks shows going on, if you can see. And so the message of this Lyrid meteor shower is it's about building a spiritual community. And it is a time of a spiritual awakening and upgrade in consciousness. This has been talked about a lot, but this is happening again and upgrading us even more during this meteor shower. Because as this meteors streaks out across the sky, the light ignites us within our soul. Oh, sorry, I'm just seeing something. And and it reminds us the way that we may be a tiny little speck in the universe, but also that we are important, integral part of everything. And also we are not, and so this meteor shower, so many stars, shooting stars are crossing, going across the sky, is telling you that we are not alone and in this journey through life. And we are surrounded by this cosmic energy and universal consciousness that binds us all together. Oh, someone's microphone is on. And so the look beyond our everyday lives and connect with something greater than ourselves. So this is the message of this Lyrid meteor shower. It's happening until April 29th. And we are right in the middle of it. Okay, and okay, let's go to now. Oop, come on, change. Oh, what's happening? I'm stuck here now. Oh, here, there you go. Okay, now let's go move on to Pluto-Saturn transit. Ta-da! So, okay, so now here I will talk about the house. So this is the very basic of the astrology chart. So like Barbara always say, this is the basic of the Paido that everybody has. So this is the very, very basic. So this house, it's always placed this way. So okay, I'm going to use this. So this Aries, the first house always start here. And this is the horizon when you were born. So that's where the first house start, and then whatever this the outside wheel, it moves according to the time. So when you were born, the horizon is here, the first house is here, and whatever this constellation you had at the birth of the time of your birth is the constellation that belongs to the first house. Okay, so now I just can talk about this inside wheel. So here you see 1 Aries, 2 Taurus, 3 Gemini, 4 Cancer, and all of this. And these are the solid pair. This doesn't change no matter how your outside wheels move. So this shows you the basic of or the characteristics of the house and the relationship with each zodiac sign of the house. Okay, so I'm just gonna escape. I can. Oh, here you go. So just gonna escape this because I wanted to show this as a magic wheel. Okay, so now we have areas here, but depending on the time you were born, this one moves all the time. See, like this. So when you were born and the Taurus was at the horizon, and you are the Taurus rising. Your first house, Taurus is in your first house, and this it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be exactly like this, as long as this beginning line is inside of this house, here or here, doesn't matter. And then even if it's here, the Taurus is starting in here in the first house. So which means that you are Taurus rising, right? So according to this, so Aries is very easy. Like me, I'm Aries rising too. This all goes as it is. So the Aries is first house, Taurus is second house. But if your rising sign is different, this is how the house placement on your chart changes, right? So now suddenly, Taurus rising, the first house, the Taurus becomes your first house. And this is how, going accordingly, rest of the houses, which constellation and house get paired up on your natal chart. So this is the same thing. If you had Gemini at the horizon when you were born, your Gemini is in the first house. Therefore, the second house becomes Cancer, third house becomes Leo. You can see it very well here, sorry. Make it a little bit smaller. There you go. Right? So it's the same thing. If you're Cancer rising, now suddenly the Leo becomes your first house. And so it goes on and on. So if Leo is first house, next Virgo is a second house, and then keep going like this. So this is a little bit confusing part because it's moving in sort of backwards, the way of thinking. Oh, Barbara, are you raising your hand?
Yes, I wanted to say something regarding the ascendant or the rising. Even if it's 1 degree of any sign, the rising is that is exactly on the 0 degree. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to add that because you say that the rising, if they have even few degrees of Taurus is not. It's exactly the one that is on the line. The one that is touching the line, that one is the rising.
This one, no? Okay, so for example, so here, if you have this, still Libra rising, right? Yeah, this
no,
the line.
The no, it's Virgo.
This you go as, okay.
You read what is exactly on top of the 0 degree areas.
Oh, okay.
That's the rising.
Two different way of reading it. I know that you do that. Some people goes with the starting line, no? Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's fine. That's what we did actually on the 12 systems too, which zodiac sign has having the most in the house. That's what you do. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So anyway, so that's how you identify your rising sign and how the house works in your natal chart. And so when I make this in a table, and this how it looks like, this is what I did on the worksheet that I distributed. So it looks a bit complicated, but when you look at this, just focus on your rising sign. You don't have to worry about the rest of the 11th. So I'm going to get out this again. Okay, so for example, okay, I can move this one too. So if you're Aries, yes, this is how the placement of the house is. So this left side here shows where the planets are. Okay, so this is top is your rising sign. And so, for example, oops. Okay, I go to this Gemini, for example. So for Gemini, the first house is in Gemini. So the Cancer, and the next one, Cancer, it's a second. And this is how you see it. And so for Cancer, the first house is in Cancer. So the second house gets in Leo, and then go in this order. And then Gemini is your 12th house. So this is how you see. So don't worry about all the tables. Just focus on this your rising sign only. And then at this meeting, we're going to talk about Pluto in Aquarius here, and then Saturn in Pisces. So these two bottom rows. So when you decide to do the table that I gave you, or if you had a chance to find it, if you want it, you just look at here. Okay, so the Pluto is in Aries right now. So if you're Aries, it is in your 11th house, and Saturn is in Pisces. So if you are Aries rising, the Saturn is in your 12th house. That's how you see it. Okay. So let's go to Sagittarius. If you're Sagittarius rising, and then Pluto is in Aquarius. So which means that Aquarius at Pluto right now is in your 3rd house, right? And Saturn is in Pisces. And that means that the Saturn is in your 4th house. That's how you see this table. Okay? Does anybody have question at this point? You can just speak up, turn on the microphone and ask me a question. Okay? Okay. All right. So I'm going to keep going to the next. Guess I don't have to do this one now. Okay. So this one I went over a few times in the past too, but this is how you see it. So you saw here, in this inner pie, that this first area, second Taurus, 3 Gemini, 4 Cancer, 5 Leo, and so on. This is solid. This is concrete set. The pair and the characteristics in on your and the astrology chart. So what does it mean? Is here and here. So it's pretty straightforward. So the first house, what kind of characteristics this first house has? It's the same as Aries, period. So first house is the same as Aries. Second house is same as Taurus. Third house, same as Gemini. And this is how it goes. So yeah, so what are each of them? I think Barbara will go through after me. I explain you what kind of characteristics each house and constellation has. So this is the solid pair. When you're looking at the house, okay, what is the 12th house means? That means the same as Pisces. And what 11th house means, that's the same as Aquarius. And then you mash up all the other information, and then look at your chart and then see what's happening. Okay. And so, and from here, if you're interested in, you can fill up the table that I gave you. I'm just gonna switch this. So this is the one I distributed to the people I know. So this is a Pluto's chart. So, and the time I said this is UTC time. So you can according to this, or I just put Eastern Standard Time here too, if you this is easier for you. And here you can just fill in your house. But I recommend to go here first. This is 2023, 2024. This is where we are right now. So you just look at the table that I just explained to you, and okay, which house my Aquarius is, and then so if it and according to that you fill in the house here, and so that and then that makes you understand where your Pluto is, and Capricorn is the same. This is just going back, but it will because it will retrograde, which is the back and forth a little bit. And then finally in 2024, November 19th, it will set. The Pluto will set in Aquarius for the next over 18 years. And yeah, these things do some retrograde. So that's how it is. So here, the table that I gave you here, so you just look at it. It's Aquarius, Pisces area. This is.
Let me ask. Someone is asking if that table can be modified.
How you want to modify?
I don't know. Someone was asking on the chat.
Can it be Can it be modified to Pacific Standard Time? I know you said you have it at Eastern Standard Time.
Well, you're going to have to calculate it by yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. It takes a little bit of time, but yeah, the little tip is that I started here from 1937. So, if you weren't born at this time, you can just cut this off, delete it and make your list shorter. So that makes it looks a little bit easier, right?
Okay.
And yeah.
I was wondering, since your PowerPoint is very interactive, if it was interactive that way. But no, thank you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, I don't have the feature of changing the time. Sorry. Okay, and then so this is the Saturn. The Saturn is a bit longer here if you want to try, because Pluto changed its sign, approximately between 14 or 15 to 20 years, I think. But the Saturn changes 2.5 years to 3 years, which is still a long period. It stays in one sign, and quite a long time, but it's every 3 years approximately. So that's why it's so long. But again, if you want to look at this, just go to here first. 2023, it sign change it in March, and this one doesn't retrograde this time. Oh no, it does. Yeah, it does in 20. But this is after main portion is done, so it doesn't retrograde for a long time. So this is you just have to look at here. That's it. And what which house you have with Pisces, and you just fill in. And I put this age here, and I thought it was interesting for me at least. So if you decide to do this in the past and the future, and you can tell how you might be able to tell how your life have been affected by this transit, right? So that's why I put age here, and then you can just calculate and put how old you were at that time, and then you can also see how old you will be in the future when certain things happen. So this is a bit. I know it looks a bit complicated, and it may be too much work, but I did it for me at least anyways. And so, okay, so let's go back to my PowerPoint. Okay, so this is example that I did. And so, yeah, so you just fill in the house here. You don't have to do color. And then, so just calculate the age and then see, okay, what was happening to me that time of my life. And yeah, so this is just example. But don't worry about too much about past and future. If you don't want to look at, just go here. Just this part that I put in a red square, this is now. So this is happening now. So we just put in, and then this Pluto in Aquarius, we have it in Aquarius, but this one do retrograde a little bit. You know, you see this RX means retrograde. It sways back to Capricorn actually in June. So this time the Pluto doesn't stay in Aquarius too long, and then go back to June to Capricorn in June 11th, and June 11th, and then stays there a little over 7 months, and then gets in Aquarius again in next year in January, and stays a little over 7 months, and again sway back to Capricorn in September, and stay there 2.5 months, 2.5 months, and then finally, actually, will be next year in November, so we have more than a year. Finally the Pluto settles in Aquarius, and then once it does that, it doesn't matter if it sways or not, it stays in Aquarius for 18 years. Okay, and so why this happened? Like if you see other transitions, this retrograde is not happening twice. So it happens once and settled into the next room, the constellation, for a long time. But this time, this back and forth happening twice. And why is that? That's because this is how the movement happens. So Capricorn, this is Pluto. The Pluto was in Capricorn for the last 14 years or so. I think we are right here at this point, just touching this Aquarius line, and stays there a little over 2 months, 2.5 months, and then start retrograding, and then goes back in Capricorn. This is 7 months, a little over 7 months. And then now in this chart, I put this retrograde in Capricorn, but not exactly. So here, retrograde finished actually, and it starts going straight forward. So during the Capricorn time, it doesn't mean that it's always retrograding. Just from here, start going straight, going, and it gets in Aquarius. And then it goes back, and here, start retrograding in Aquarius again, and then goes back, and then pass through the borderline again, and dip back in a Capricorn, a little over 2 months again. And from here, and then finally, for the next 18 years, stays in Aquarius. It will do this movement all the time, but it stays in Aquarius for the 18 years. And so, yeah, that's why you're seeing the going back and forth, why it's moving, changing the signs back and forth. Okay, and then so this is this example of a Saturn table that I did. So again, the same as Pluto, you just probably start from here. Right now, 2023, and Pisces. Well, which house do I have Pisces? And you fill in the house. And if you want to keep going, in the past, the future, just keep going and you see what happens. And then if you want to fill in the age, you fill in the age. And then here, this is a long list, but I chopped in this way because I just wanted to show you what else this table is useful for. You can tell, I don't know if everybody has been heard, the return of Saturn. It comes in around 30 years, I guess. Some people say 20 years, between 28 and 31 years. Everybody has the return of Saturn. What return of Saturn is? When you were born on your natal chart, you have the Saturn on a specific point, and it takes Saturn for about 30 years to go around the wheel and it come back to exactly the same spot and degree where you were born, and that is the return of Saturn. And by doing this chart, you can tell when was exactly your return of Saturn was or will be. So for my case, I had Saturn in Taurus when I was born. well, if you want to go to very deeply, you have to look into the degrees and the stuff. But and then just talk about zodiac sign here. So I had Saturn in Taurus. So the next the return of Saturn will be when the Saturn comes back to Taurus next time, which was I was 28 approximately. Here is I have to see my degrees exactly when it happens, but this was the time that Taurus came back to the Saturn in 1999. So I look back and then, okay, at this time, yes, my life was shifting. You know, it's changing the pattern a little bit and starting the new cycle of life. And that's what happened when Saturn comes back. And then so for going, and then I just chopped off my chart and then picked out and the next return of Saturn, when my Saturn will come back to Taurus, which will be to me 2028. So I'll be 58 to 60. And so that is the time that I will have next return of Saturn. So around this time that I can expect that, okay, my life is going to shift again, that, life cycle is going to start changing. So this is how, another way that you can use this, the table. And then you can just look, okay, what was the Saturn when I was born? And then look at the next sign, the same zodiac sign appears on your chart. And okay, Barbara.
Yes, sorry. When you finish, can you put back again the first chart that you shared? That someone is asking a question and I want to use your chart to explain. Or maybe if you want to see the question.
Yeah. I think this is the last one. Okay, I can switch it back now. Come on. There you go. Yeah. Okay. Right. So when you have this, just first, just go to this right now. Right. And so here you have Aquarius, and then you look at this table, and you know your rising sign. So you just look for your rising sign here on the top bar. And then if you're Capricorn, okay, I'm a Capricorn rising, just focus here. This is the placement of your 12 houses. Okay, don't worry about anywhere else. So, okay, I am a Capricorn rising. And then what is Aquarius house? So if you look at Aquarius, your house, Aquarius is in your second house, right? So you go here, 2020 March, and here you just put second house. And which, once you locate your house, once it's kind of easier. So the next Capricorn is going back. So it will be your what? Just go like my Capricorn was in the Capricorn rising. It was the first house, right? So you put first house. And when it goes back to Aquarius, your Pluto will go into your second house again, right? Back and then same as Saturn. So you just look at now, to 2023. 2023 here, and the Pisces, right? So where my Pisces is. So, okay, let's say, okay, I am a Libra rising. So you just look at this Libra rising. Don't look at anywhere else. And this is your house placement. So Saturn is in Pisces. So you look at this Pisces here. Okay, so Pisces is in your sixth house when you have Libra rising, right? So you go back to your chart. 2023, and you just put sixth house. right? So the relationship of all this, Barbara will explain you later. So I'm just telling you the technical part, you know, how to put all the pieces together, right? And then, yeah, so this is how it works. And so that means that if you want to go back and future, so the Aquarius for the last 3 years or so, Saturn was in Aquarius. That makes you that it was in your 5th house. Oops. Oops. 5th house, right? So, and then you can tell, okay, what that means. That this is where the interpretation coming in. But that's what Barbara is going to help you after this. So, is it good? It's clear. Okay, good.
Can you
You're welcome.
can
Okay.
you put, Ami, can you put the first chart, the natal chart? I think you share.
This
No, the one before, the one that it moves, the one that moves.
one that moves. Okay.
Oh, it's in another file.
Oh, up, up. This one, right?
Yes.
Okay. What would you like to know? Okay.
I
What's your question?
because someone was asking, how do you count or how do you find in which house is going to be according to the rising, if that's correct?
So the rising is always first house, right? You have to look at your natal chart. And then, so here I have Capricorn. So if you had Capricorn here with the first house, and this is your rising sign, the Capricorn is the rising sign. When the Capricorn is rising, which makes Aquarius is in your 2nd house, Pisces is in your 3rd house, Aries 4th. It goes like this. I don't know if I can do example. The person who's asking question, what is your rising sign?
I think my rising sign is Gemini. So that
Gemini.
means
Okay, so let's do Gemini.
Okay.
So you had Gemini here when you were born. I don't know, here or there, or no, it may not, it doesn't exactly like this, probably not, but you somewhere around here, right? Oops, it's moving. So your Gemini is in the 1st house. So this is how you look at it. So your Cancer is 2nd. Leo is in your 3rd, right?
Okay.
And the Virgo 4th. And then, okay, I should mention this. So this is how astrologers like Barbara, actually, I'll tell you, I'm not an astrologer, you know, people start thinking, but I'm not an astrologer. I just give you some info and data that I put together. But so anyway, so that when the astrologer do the reading and they go by rising sign, not your sun sign. So like when you are reading daily horoscope or the weekly horoscope and, you know, the online or magazine or somewhere, you should be reading your rising sign, not the sun sign, which a lot of people don't know. And I didn't know that either. But for me, fortunately, my sun sign and rising sign are the same, so I guess it worked always for me. But a lot of people don't have a sun sign and rising sign, you know, the same. So when you are looking at reading the horoscope, you know, daily horoscope, look at the sign where where your rising sign is, not the sun sign. So that's how astrologers do the reading, right? So
Yes.
yeah. So I think you can look at the sun sign if you want to. Maybe something helps you, but it's always the reading is according to your rising sign. So rising sign is important. That's why I wanted to mention you here, and so you can do the worksheet if you wanted to, because it's all according to your rising sign.
I want to add something for her because we are talking about Pluto in Aquarius. So you will count where the Gemini is, and you go all the way to Aquarius, so you know that your Pluto is there. So your Pluto is in the 9th house. If that was what you were asking. For the
Okay.
people that have the rising in Cancer, it's gonna move a little bit more, and it's gonna be in the 8th house. No, it's gonna be in the 10th house.
Yeah, so here you look at here. This outside wheel is where the planets will sit. So right now for you, Gemini rising, Pluto is here. Pluto is in Aquarius. So that makes sure that the Pluto is in your 9th house. And Saturn is here in Pisces. So that makes you that the Saturn is in your 10th house right now. Yeah.
I will add one more thing
Yeah.
beside the Pluto and the Saturn. For example, the eclipse that it was a few days ago, that it was right between Aries and Taurus, for a person that is a Gemini, it is gonna be right on the cusp of the 11th and 12th house. Because
right
it was right
eclipse
so
was
that's how we read whatever is happening on the sky, like Pluto in Aquarius, Saturn in Pisces, is this way. The way she is explaining that is called transits.
Mhm. Right. Does anybody else want help with the example with someone having a different rising sign to understand better?
May I ask a question
Yeah.
first? So so if I'm looking at my chart, actually my Gemini is like in the like it's not exactly on the line like that. It's kind of like in the middle.
Kind of like
And
like this?
the other way.
Oh, so you made Cancer, no? Like
So
this,
the other way, yeah, kind of like that, a little bit over, but yeah,
kind of like
like
this.
that. So how do you figure out? So then you have everything's kind of in the middle.
Okay,
No.
Barbara, you want to take that if
Yeah.
it's right in the middle?
Yes, you take it as a degree. Let me show you something.
Should I stop sharing?
No, leave it. I'm gonna use this one as an example. So the rising is gonna be always Gemini. You have the line. Can you see the line there that I did with my finger?
Yes.
So that's gonna be the rising, even if you have half of the sign in the first house and half on the 12th house. What is gonna happen if you count, your Aquarius is gonna be also half house 9 and half house 8. So you're gonna have to see the degree that Pluto in this moment that we are talking about that is like in this time is the 8th house because it's in between Capricorn and Aquarius. So you find by degree what you are looking for. In this case, Pluto, or it can be like Pisces, like Saturn in Pisces. Everything moves by degree.
Okay, so wherever it's the higher degree or the more that sign is, the house is what would be the more influential?
The house always has the energy of the cusp. That the cusp is the line that is right in between each. That's the cusp. So in this case, let me see. Sorry, that one. So your rising is Gemini. So that first house is gonna be with the energy of Gemini. Matthias on the 12th system talks in a different way, but in astrology is always the sign that you have over the line, on the point that is the lines are together. The second house is gonna be Cancer. The third house is gonna be Leo. The fourth house is gonna be Virgo.
Okay.
On the 12 systems is different. When we go deep on the 12 systems, it's a different situation because Matthias, that's how he channel and that's how he teach the 12 system. But when you have a reading with an astrologer, we use the cusp energy, that is the sign that is touching that line.
Yeah, okay, got it, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I probably explained it a bit wrong at the beginning. Can we clear this?
Yes,
Thank you.
sure.
Thank you.
I love this tour.
Okay, so sorry, I was looking at this line, but you had to look at this line.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. So if you're Taurus rising, yeah, from here could be here, could be here, could be here. Oops, moving. So yeah, and then it's a Taurus rising. Sorry,
Taurus.
that I have to correct that. Okay, so now I'm done here. Does anybody have any other questions for now? And otherwise, I'll pass it on to Barbara. Yeah, okay. All right, so
Donna say like a cross axis. What do you mean, Donna? I didn't see the chat, so maybe it's
I just meant when you were like looking at the horizon and when we're looking at the chart, the circle, I kind of picture like a cross. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, it is a cross.
Yeah, the cross, the center. Yeah.
Okay. Ascendant, descendant.
Quarters.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good. So like this is a cross here, right? The ascendants and going to the opposite side. And so midheaven is here or here? I'm not sure here, right?
Yes,
and
right there.
Yeah, so this is the cross. Here, vertical line, and this is the horizontal line. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so that's another thing that Barbara could explain, but maybe I don't know if we can get to that today. So now, okay, I'm gonna pass it on to Barbara.
Okay, thank you, Ami. That was so good. Thank you for the charts and doing all that work. That for me is so science.
Science, yes. Okay.
Science. Well, anyway, so hi everybody, welcome. And thank you for joining us in our first, second, I don't know, meeting. And we're gonna go to the Pluto and Saturn that she explained in the houses. But first I wanna share something. I made a PDF with 25 or something pictures that I'm gonna share right now for you to have as a, like a notebook or a memory, because pretty much what I'm gonna talk to make it more dynamic and more fun and more easy to get, and it's not so much information, is to have the pictures. I was thinking these last few days, what to share or how to do the presentation, because like everybody is doing Pluto in the houses or in the signs, and there are like millions videos that you can Google and you can find the same information. But as I do always, and it's the way that I like to work and explain the astrology, is for you to understand, is for everybody to understand, because like I had many times before, always pay for a session, an astrologer, and the astrologer talks about this and that, and this is going to happen, or this is coming, and then close the session, and I completely forgot what she said. I didn't understand. I just remember a few words, and at least that's me, but I guess it happened because it's so much information that if you don't understand what the person is really talking about, it goes past and you won't retain the information. So for me, in this case, and in any reading and chart that I'm reading, I want the person to really see what is going on to understand, because otherwise it's just information that is gonna pass like so many, and I'm learning myself as a teacher, or as a sharing, or whatever. I really want the person to understand what we are talking about. So I didn't do each house for Saturn and Pluto. We are gonna do it, but we're gonna do it in a different way. And also I'm a coach. So what I did that is a little bit different is like I create questions for each house that make you reflect. Because, and mostly everybody knows that I work with kids, and I like to teach them the basic stuff. Astrology is not the basic, but it can be. Is to learn to think what is the first house, not someone that comes and say, okay, this and this and this is going to happen to you. I want people to use the astrology and the chart as a tool to learn themselves, because you can go to an astrologer and they're going to tell you, but you have to use it as a tool for you and know those questions that are going to make you grow and are going to make you go deep, than if I sit here and talk about, yes, Saturn, Pluto in Aquarius for the first house is going to go through this and that. So I create like a context and another information that is related to all this. And then you're going to have the pages with all the information for it, for Aquarius, for each house. We're going to go over, but you're going to have it also to work on yourself. And that's what is really for me most important than, you know, listen to another YouTube video or listening to another astrologer talking about the basic. Saturn, first house, Pluto, third house, and that. So I create this long, but I'm going to try to make it short, PDF for you to keep it. And Amy is going to share a link for exactly what I just say. It's an astrologer that I really like. And she has a 2 hours and a half or 2 hours and something video on YouTube that she talks exactly this. Pluto is Pluto in Aquarius, Pluto on the first house, Pluto on the second house. She goes deep and she goes with probably what you are expecting in this class or in this meeting, but it's a little bit more than that. It's in a different way, like I do everything.
Yes, I just posted the link on the chat if you like to copy.
Thank you. Then we're gonna share it on the groups on social media, like the 12 system. No, not the 12 system, because this is not 12 system, but in the Facebook groups and the WhatsApp groups. So let me share. And this is for you to go over after the meeting and when you have time and when you want to go deep on your own, or maybe after you listen to the other video that Amish just shared. Let me share on my side. Okay, remember, this is a preschool teacher here. So I needed to do it this way. Can you hear me? Is the sound good? Yeah, everything is working?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So as we talked with the Ami before, and we have been showing the chart and the graphic, everything that we are talking in astrology is cycles. We have cycles, even our bodies, we have cycles for each planet. We have cycles, cycles of the water, cycles of the, biological cycles, biorhythm, I think it's called, biorritmo in Spanish. I don't know if it's the same. So everything have a cycle. Even our galaxy has a cycle, the sun has a cycle. So that's what I put this, because it's exactly astrology. What is astrology about? Another cycle of the planets and the. So talking about the cycles here, it's in Spanish, but you can understand the dates and the years. The sun, for example, it has 365. The moon, it has 27 days. Mercury, 88. Venus, 255 days. And here, the two that we are talking about, the Saturn is 29 years. That's what the Saturn return to the same exact place is 29 years. And Pluto, that is a long cycle, that is 248 years, because it's longer in the, farther from the sun. So it's goes very slow and it has more time. So now everybody knows that they're talking about the Saturn return means that the Pluto return in the United States, that is been 248 years past, and Pluto came to the same place. That's what is so important. It's a very long period, and it's a very explosive and important for any country. They say, I was reading like a few years ago in history that for the Roman Empire, it needed like 3 periods of Pluto to go down. Some countries like France is also having the Pluto return right now. And for some countries, it goes mild, and some strong countries need more than one Pluto return. So this is our first one in the United States. Let's see what happened. But I wanted to share that because that's the beginning of the cycles that we are talking and we will be talking about. And for you also to have this information that I think is pretty cool. Another chart with cycles, and I love this one because I always think like what was happening at my 7, that this and this happened, and what was happening at my 21, that this and this was happening. And you can see here, this chart shows you your age. Like at 7, you have Saturn square. Then you have 12, you have the Jupiter return. 14 is another opposition of Saturn, and you see so many cycles. Saturn a lot. Then you have the Jupiter opposition. At 36, you have a big cycle. You have the square of Pluto, you have the square of Saturn, and then you have the Jupiter return. That's what, I don't know, for me particularly was very like a turning point at 36. And is so many energies, like important points joined in 1 year. Then for Pluto square going to the other side, you have 60 years old. So the people going, getting to 60 is another big wake up call. So this is pretty much wake up calls that we have in life, and so many. But that's a very cool chart that I just found to do this meeting, and I love it. I'm gonna keep using it. I think it's fantastic because it shows you, you might be in your 20s, and you know that at 45 you're gonna have something going on, right? So next. Okay, talking about the cycles, and we're talking about Pluto and Saturn. Cycles, each planet has cycles, but also the conjunction of the planets have cycles. For example, and as you show, you see in the chart, Pluto, let me use my favorite tool right here. You have Pluto and you have Saturn, the two malefics that astrology call with Mars, but I call it the 3 transformative planets, because when they pass or when they join, big things happen. So if you see the time that is this chart, January 10, 2020, and you have Saturn and you have Pluto together in the 22nd degree, pandemic was happening, starting to, be born, or new chapter in life. And if you see all this in Capricorn, it was so many things going on. The sun, it was Mercury, it was Venus, it was Jupiter coming along in December. Jupiter joined Saturn and Pluto, and it was, it was the peak of the death on the pandemic on 2020. So that's the influence, and that's how we study cycles. Pluto is also known because, beside all the things that Pluto is, that we're gonna go in a picture, that everything that Pluto is and it's not. And Pluto is also virus and bacteria, because it's things that are hidden. So, and Saturn is limitations. So that was exactly what happened. The virus came and the bacteria, and then a lot of restrictions, and when Jupiter came to the meeting, to join them, it was even more. It was exalted with the Jupiter energy. But this conjunction happened every 38 years. So we just pass it for 30 years. We're gonna have a little bit of peace of mind. They separate now. One is in Aquarius and the other one is in Pisces. So, but this is another cycle. Many astrologers knew that something like that was coming, like a pandemic. I heard the Leo King that I love talking about it. Like he said it in 2019, a pandemic is coming. So the great, amazing astrologers knew what was going on and what was coming. That's how they made predictions and all that. Let me delete this. But I wanted to show this chart because it's the beginning of our transformation. Okay, this one also is pretty interesting to me, and I wanted to show because we see the chart and we talk about the pizza and we talk about the cycles and the periods, but we don't realize that also we are in an evolutionary track. It doesn't happen in the chart always on the same place. Like if you have your Saturn return, coming back to the same point is not going to be the same situation. It's not going to be the same test the life is going to give you, because we are evolving. It might be that nothing happened, or this time that if you evolve and if you're in a higher plane or in a higher vibration, it might happen something that is in a positive context than a test like it's going to make you grow with pain and with going deep. It can be the opposite. So it all depends how we are growing and evolving. It's a process of individuation, and you see the chart on the bottom, the ascendant and midheaven, and the chart is pretty much, I'm going to show the next one, this. You are not going in circles like it looks like when you see the chart, like, oh no, something is happened to me again. Saturn return is coming and the bomb is going to blow up everything again. And maybe not. You just need to see differently, like these pictures say, that I love it. So even we are going in the United States in the Pluto return, things are different in a way. Of course, the country is going, and the country and the world is going through so many changes and tests and evolution, but also this is a different time than when the Pluto was in the 1700s. Many people talk about war, many people talk about revolution. It might happen or it might not. So for me, I want to think and feel that we, the people, are vibrating in a different context than the 1700s. Many things are going to repeat and happen, but many people and many countries are going to keep evolving. And beside that is talk. I'm going to go to the next picture and see. This is another picture that I love because I love history, and it's the evolution of the planet and the eras, Cenozoic, Mesozoic. And I remember back in history that I didn't understand anything when I was going to the primary school, that you study all these eras, and it's pretty much our way of evolution. And we are not repeating, we are just practicing more and more and more to evolve and get better. And I wanted to get to this one, and going back with what I was saying a few pictures ago. The cycles, like everything is cycles. We have cycles on the planets and we have cycles on the galaxy as well. of evolution. This planet has the precision of the equinox, that is every 2,000 years, and that's another big cycle. This cycle is 20, here say 24,000 years, but in reality is 2,500, 600. And divide each era of 2,000 years. But what I wanted to show, because also referring what Matthias always make reference about the Leo era, and also about evolving and not going in circles. When the Leo era that Matthias talks was happening, if you see the I don't know how do you call the bump? No, the down, the them, I don't know. It goes down, and then in Aquarius start going up. That's what we are in a rising era. Is the sun, the golden era. When Matthias and everybody 12,000 years ago was in Egypt, he was going to the dark periods, meaning the energy was getting more dense than now that we are going in rise. The energy is going higher, is going faster. We're getting more sun, more light, more information. The vibration of the earth and the atoms and the things that are coming from the sun are much higher than when they were in a down period. In Virgo era, that is here, let me see. The Virgo era, it was right here. And it was when the flood happened, before entering or during, you know, the eras overlap. So between Virgo and Leo, it was the flood happening and the down of Atlantis. And if you see this, is the opposite of Aquarius or something like that. And the Virgo is the opposite of Pisces. We are living this era of Pisces, enter into Aquarius. We are in between this line that is the most, I'm not gonna say chaotic, but it's the most challenging time between eras, because both energy play at the same time, and it's very uncomfortable, let's say, to have two things at the same time vibrating in the world and inside of us. We think with the old school things from the Pisces, you know, religions and dogmas and things like that. And then we have the Aquarius coming that is all new, and you have new sex, you know, like all this sex revolution and so many new things that unexpected as Aquarius is. And also I'm talking about this because it's exactly the two energies that we're gonna talk, Aquarius and Pisces, Saturn being in Pisces, that's the era that we are living, and Pluto in Aquarius, that is the era that we are stepping in. So that's why I'm referring to this graphic exactly. Also making reference that whatever happened in Aquarius is related or mirroring what happened in Leo. That's why Matthias went to Egypt, closed the chapter, and opened a new one in Argentina for the new era, because Leo and Aquarius are on the same axis, and whatever happened in Leo, whatever happened with Matthias and all the people that were there the 12,000 years ago that he always mentioned are active right now on the Aquarius era. The axis never works separate. It's one part of the other one. That's why everybody needed to come back at the same time that they were in Leo, come back in Aquarius to balance it out and work it out. The same happened with the Virgo and Pisces. To balance out the karma and the story. Now I'm gonna go to this one. that I'm going to explain something kind of weird that I never heard anybody talking about, but in my brain, my crazy Gemini, Virgo, Aquarius brain, it makes sense. And it's this. Let me show. Okay. And we just talked about Virgo and Pisces, and Saturn being in Pisces to transform and activate it. Okay. Pisces is a water sign. Virgo is an earth sign. Now, those two energies, earth, water, are going to be the energies that we are leaving behind. We are stepping into Aquarius, Leo. There are we're going to have 2,000 years of air and fire. So the energies are completely different. That's what this transition is very uncomfortable. We're changing elements, we're changing the way of thinking, the way of feeling, the way of acting. And when I say all this, please think about Pluto and Saturn, because when I talk about Pluto and Saturn in the houses, I'm talking about also activating these energies of Pisces and Aquarius. In astrology, we don't read things separately. It's like everything is a mesh. Everything is connected. Even what is happening in one corner of the chart or like 12,000 years ago. So I wanted you to think this way. The astrology is not just what happened with Saturn in your first house. Yes, it is. Something is happening Saturn in your first house, but everything is happening around the whole chart, the whole universe, the whole era. It's like this, how do you call the Russian dolls? Are called Russian dolls? That the ones that come one inside the other one. It's like that. It's not just one thing. It's like all connected. And what I noticed about this, that's my own thought creation, is this. The Virgo Leo transition, it was so unbalanced because they were going down that it was the water, the flood of Pisces that had to turn the creation or clear out the energy of what it was not working out in Atlantis or Lemuria with the floods. It was the water that balanced the earth energy. Now, we can use the same concepts with Aquarius and Pisces, Aquarius and Leo that we are talking now, because we're talking about Aquarius, but like I say, the axis is active, and whatever happened in one side, the other one is gonna balance or is gonna act out. In Virgo, Leo, the beginning of Leo, that it was a mess, as I guess, they were going down. The water was the one that came and did all the clearing. What happened in Leo and Aquarius? Aquarius is an air sign, and Leo is fire, and is the sun. Each planet, each sign or house has a ruler that is a different planet. Leo is the sun. So what I was thinking one day that I was, on my own bubble of thinking, I was like, wow, makes sense, because what are we talking about with the solar flares that are coming? And that's what also I wanted to bring this up, because the big solar flares that are coming, I heard people saying that they're gonna make this life on Earth change. And they are coming next month in May. So that's what I'm talking about this one right now, is because this time the Aquarius, that is air, is gonna be transformed through fire and through the sun. The solar flares are gonna make us rise or not, acting on the air, acting on the mind, and acting on everything, social media, and acting on the internet. So the solar flares is right on the chart. I mean, I don't know, I'm making this up, but it makes sense to me. So we are gonna be balanced and clear or cleansing through the sun. This time, this is gonna be the information coming from the sun, even to erase the information that is not serving us, burning us, or I don't know what is gonna happen with the solar flares, but this is what is happening. You see exactly how the earth was flooded in Virgo Pisces, the opposition axis, and then you see here Aquarius Leo, that is the sun. So this time we are gonna be work through the sun and through the fire and through the air. So this is the beginning, and it's starting, they say next month, the big solar flare is on May, so let's see what happens. And that's why I wanted to bring this picture up. It's related to what you're gonna see on Pluto and Saturn in Aquarius and Pisces, because it's the energy that is playing in the same 4 axes, actually 2 axes. Any questions? Any comment, or someone wants to say something about it? All good? Okay. So I choose this picture to go over the chart because it has all the information and you can see it and you can use it. Thank you, Lupe. And you can use it as a, you know, for you to anytime go deep and see what is the first house, what is the second. I add around in a not very nice way, but I just add the affirmation, I am, I have, I think, I feel. And let's also, I wanted to say that I didn't realize until last night that the house 6 and 12, they were bad. They didn't on the opposite axis, and the 7 and yeah, the 7 and 11 as well. So I fix the numbers. So you have to change it. This is a 12, the 6 is the 12, and the 12 is the 6. Okay. So let's see now the houses of Aquarius and Pisces, because are the houses that we are changing eras, Pisces, Aquarius, and also we're talking about Pluto and Saturn in these houses. The house number 12, that is on the other side on the number 6, is, and this is Pisces, meditation, spirituality, escapism, imagination, dreams, visualization, compassion. You have all this. It's Pisces. I always call it is the other side of the veil. It's the house where we are come from before we are born, and it's the house where we are going. It's the completion. It's the house of the cellular memories, because it's when you are in your belly, is when your mom is pregnant, your body is in your mom, you are getting all the information through the blood and through the DNA. As that house, we say that it's like a hidden stuff. It's hidden, but it's also the information that you cannot see. And then the 7th house, the house of Aquarius, that is change, is awakening, is reaction, and this is the new era going on. It's brotherhood, it's freedom, equality, inventions, discoveries. So you put those 2 energies that are so kind of opposite and try to integrate it and see what happened. It happened, what is going on right now, that is not that easy to integrate those 2 energies. Okay. So talking about what we came to talk for real, that it was Saturn in Pisces, that's how you put it together. These 2 informations, what is Saturn, what is Pisces. Saturn returns to Pisces for the first time in 30 years. So 30 years ago, was the same going on in a different context, in a different level, because we all grew, even as a society, we grew. And we grew because we are in 30 years ago, we were getting into the Aquarius era, the Aquarius age, but we getting to the main thing. We stepping into more deeply, and people say that the Pluto in Aquarius is the key, opening the Aquarius era, because it's been is the most strong planet, even if it's the smaller. Pluto is the one that the more chart and the more transpersonal. So the growth is in a deeper level. What is Saturn? So you put these two things together. What is Saturn? What is Pisces? Saturn is a god of karma, is time, is discipline, limitations. Remember when Saturn met with Pluto, that it was a pandemic? Is limitations, is preservation, is order, security. That's the energy that Saturn is going to bring to any house that it is. With is in the house of Pisces or in the house of Gemini or in the house of any house that it is always this energy. You have Pisces, that you have spirituality. So you have Saturn in Pisces. Limitations. Let's put it together. Limitations, karma, discipline, responsibility, business, tradition, because you have always the positive and the negative aspect of each planet. In Pisces, spirituality, intuitive, loss, imagination, hypersensitivity, compassion, creative, timid, pessimistic, again, in a positive and negative way, dreamy. But it's spirituality, it's connection to the other side. Is connection through something spiritual and beautiful and positive, or is connection through drugs, connections to, trying to avoid the situation, like doing whatever things that make you unplug and make you avoid to go deep through anything that is, how do you call? Well, doesn't come this time. I'm getting dizzy. I'm getting dizzy of my own words. All the things that we do to avoid the problems and the situations that we have to transcend. It can be shopping. It can be gambling. Addictions. That's a famous word that I couldn't get. It's all the addictions are also on Pisces. But also the spiritual tools are on Pisces. And this is what I think, hold on, I'm putting my charger. This is what I think. Can you guys see the chart again? Still, the picture that says Pisces? Can you see it?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So how do you read a Saturn in Pisces? In the first house, Saturn in Pisces in the second house, Saturn in Pisces in the third house. That's how we do it as astrologers. You mix the words and you mix all this information that you see as an intuition, intuitive, because you cannot say limitation, spiritual limitation. It can be delay of creativity. It can be you mix match all this energy, and that's what pretty much all the videos that you go and look, they are saying. They are using these keywords that I just show you, this one with this one, and they gonna take it to the house that you have the planet. You have Saturn in Pisces on the second house is gonna be about survival. It's gonna be about finances, security, possessions. It's gonna be nutrition, food, values, and that's how you put it. So I'm not gonna come here and tell you exactly what it is, what is gonna happen to you. You go to the information that I'm giving you and you process on your own intuition and what the universe is gonna tell you. Because I can say many, many things. I can create many beautiful words and tell you whatever, and honestly, it's gonna happen only for you. The information that I might give you, it might be not for you. So I think this is a magnificent tool. You see it and you see all the information and you put it together for you. You meditate, you connect with the house, you connect with the planet, and this is how the astrologers do it. When I'm in a session, I'm so connected with the person is asking questions, I know the chart, and I know what's going on, and I can go maybe more confident to see and say, you know what, I think it comes this way, it might be showing up this way because of this and that, but I don't work that way, that horoscopes or predictions in general, because each person is so unique that my best gift that I can give you is put all this information together. You go with this, you go with this. In the house that Ami chart is telling you that it is, if Pluto is in your second house that I say, or Saturn, it might be limitations or security or responsibility about the finances or the values. You are changing values, you are rethinking values. It can be a lot of things. So I recommend to do your own personal work, because this is a tool of growth. It's not a horoscope. I cannot give a general, I can read all this and be here for 2 hours telling you house by house what it might happen. But I think this is more personal, and this is my invitation. That's why I put 25 pictures for you to see Saturn in Pisces, Pluto in Aquarius. And with the keywords, Pluto is transformation, that we just see. It came to Aquarius, it's gonna go back to Capricorn. All these last 20 years, I think since 2004 that it was in Capricorn, all the systems, all the transformation and the depth of the systems that happened. And now we are gonna go the transformation in Aquarius. That is the age that is coming. Forward thinking, unique, logical, humanistic, altruistic, intellectual, science, the artificial intelligence, all these new medicines that are coming, that are like every year is something new, and like it's like a 20 years of transformation in just 1 year. That's how Aquarius is, that's how Pluto is gonna be so fast and so intense. It's gonna go fast. No, it's gonna go slow but deep. The transformation in 1 year is gonna be so intense and deep that in 5 years we're gonna have a completely different planet. So many things are gonna change so intensely slow and rapid. You know what I mean? And here I put it together so you can see it more easily. You know, Pluto in Aquarius, Saturn in Pisces, and you play around, transformation, imagination. The teacher that is Saturn, where Saturn is the area that you have to master, is the area that they're gonna put you to work, is an area that you are gonna be transformed, because Pluto is transformation, but Saturn is mastering through work, through awareness, through being wise. Okay, This one is to show you again the chart of the cycles. Oops. This is a chart that I did for when Saturn, Pluto was in Aquarius since in the 1700, it was exactly 1777. And this chart for when Pluto enters in Aquarius a few months ago. I think it was last month. Okay. The difference that for me, for as an astrologer, is huge. Both has the Sun and Chiron in Aries. Now I'm going to Chiron, but I guess everybody knows, or people might know, that Chiron is the wounded healer, is the wound that we bring. And it's in Aries, that is the I am. And remember that I talk about access, the other side of the equation is Pisces. Sorry, I'm making a mess. Putting my finger. So in these two periods, the Sun was with Chiron, touching our wound, touching who we are. This is not normal. I mean, when you see a repeating pattern, it brings you the awareness that that's the way it's going, thinking who we are. Now you go to Aries, is the I am, individuality. You go to the chart that I just gave you with each house and each sign is personal identity, appearance, performance, ego. So all that, it was being in a call. When the Sun is conjunct with the planet, it is calling out loud. So that was important for both periods. But then you have, can you see the chat, also the WhatsApp chat? For the 2023, you have two teams that I call it. All the group in Taurus and all the group in Aquarius. Let me do this. You have all the group here. No. You have all this going on here and all this going on here. The Sun is with Mercury, is with Jupiter, is with Chiron. It's like the whole chart is kind of empty, and you have these two teams, one with the Moon and the North Node and the transformation in Taurus. So again, it's Earth, it's values, it's Venus, is the values, is the economic system, and on the other side is who you are becoming, who you are connected with. Is with Mercury, is connection, is information. Then you have here the famous Saturn in Pisces, like 1 degree, exactly when Pluto enters Aquarius, Saturn enters Pisces, again connecting with the other side, transforming us internally, like making us work towards the connection with the other side, making us create new tools and use it. We need to master and take it serious as a Saturn in Pisces, this path, the connection with the I am, like you see, the Aries, Sun, Chiron, Jupiter. The I am is being big when Pluto enters Aquarius for this transformation, for the Aquarian era. And then a reconnection of values, a transformation, because it's Uranus, a transformation of values, a transformation of emotions, connecting with the earth. You have the Moon in Taurus, connection with the earth, connecting deeply with the emotions. I don't know what I'm doing. There you go. And in the 1700s, it was similar. Now I cannot move it. There you go. On the 1700s was completely different. You have a lot going on in Cancer, that it was the values of family and home. It was all the revolutions for independency. You had Gemini there with the values, like all the signing papers, you know, the Constitution, all the freedom talks, and a lot of conversations going on. You have a Saturn in a Scorpio, so the transformation and the mastery was in a completely different, it was other people's money, other people's values, like that's why it was the independence. So when you go through the charts of the both, they have a completely different story. So it might repeat few things, yes, like every cycle, but this is a completely different story. I'm trying to delete this. There you go. I am confident and I hope, because this is the beginning of the Aquarius era, that is this going to be a completely different chapter going to the 5 dimensions in the next, I don't know, 10, 20, 50 years. All the solar flares that people are talking about, Pluto in Aquarius doing the transformation, that you have transformation or you have trauma. You have forward thinking in Aquarius, you have detachment, you have power, you can have power detachment. You can have fear of, let me see, rebellion. You know, putting these words together with Pluto and Aquarius that I just gave you, you can play around. And this is the energy that is playing out right now. Let me see what I put after. Okay. And then this is also homework because it's a lot to go one by one. What I did was this. You see that the first house is giving you all the information about what is the first house. Your vitality, yourself, who you are, is the I am, basically, but I give you more information. And I put the 7th house because, like I say before, for me, every time I read a chart, I always look for the house that is on the other side. Also, what I wanted to say that I forgot now that I see the axis is when Pluto is in Aquarius, whatever happened in the house, the Leo house, on the other side is going to be affected. And I'm going to share my example. I have Venus in Cancer. The opposite is Capricorn. So when Pluto was going through Capricorn, it opposed my Venus, my values, my womanhood, my beauty, many, many things that Venus represents. So when it was the opposition of that Pluto Venus, I had so many hormone issues. I lost my fertility. I lost many friends because I have it in the 11th house. So it's not just in the house it is. Also look at the opposition, because it's gonna, if you have planets there, it's gonna work on those planets too. Oppositions and conjunctions have not the same energy, but it's similar. So whatever happened in the house number 1, something is gonna happen in the house number 7. That's what I put it together. If you have Pluto on the house number 1, check your marriage, because it's gonna be in opposition and might, move something related to your marriage. It's not just the first house, it's the axis, it's the 1st and the 7th. So it's you, but it's gonna be you. And if it's gonna move you, it's gonna move all the people that you have around you. If it's gonna move in the 2nd house, for example, if in the 2nd house it's gonna touch your finances, it's gonna touch your finances or your values, but it's also gonna touch the other people's money, and it's gonna touch other people's values. You're gonna see in the house number 8. So always check the other side and you have here, I made the questions. You have here, no. Like for example, this. Second house, do you feel abundant and attach what you need in life and attract what you need? Do you use your resources? And then when you check the seventh house is, do you have sexual issues? So always check both, even if your Pluto or Saturn is in one house or the other. Check the axis, because in opposition is gonna work on the other side as well. When Pluto opposed my sun in 2006, and the sun is your identity, I had to do a DNA test because suddenly appeared another father, like out of the blue. I just realized that I might have another father, not the father that like raised me, and I had to do a DNA test. If you have an example of the sun opposing Pluto, is that my identity was like put it in observation and transformation, and it was a very intense period for me as it's Pluto opposing my sun. So please check both houses, the one that is in and the opposite. See? Well, you have all the houses: third house, communication, study, commerce, the way the thinking process, and all that. And on the ninth house is studies, going to the travel. You have homework here to do. And this one, the last one, is just, again, a little short keywords for the houses in a more easy and funny way, to put like couple of words, not that many words that I put on this one. So let me go to the, no, sorry. Like this one. In this one, you go first house 7, like I just say, you can read both and see what's going on with your Saturn and with your Pluto in Pisces and Aquarius. And this is it. This is my homework for you guys. And also I already shared the, I'm gonna stop the presentation. I shared the link of the, I shared the link of the video that goes, if you wanna, do something when you're doing something, or you wanna go house by house, how Pluto is gonna go by house. There are many amazing videos that I can share or recommend, but this was my way of doing, because I do like to work in a way that is more, use the astrology as a tool for you, not someone coming to tell you what to do or what is gonna happen to you, just for you learning what is the energy, what it means, and how you mix the information. You mix a little bit of here, a little bit of there, and you mix it, and you have your own reading. I mean, I can do the reading. This is gonna take forever if I do one by one, but this is my gift for these energies, very big energies. And that's it. Any questions or anything that you want to share?
Does anybody have any questions? Anything? Good. Okay, thank you, Barbara. That was a lot of information that we have to work on our own.
I know, yes.
Exactly the path of I am. do it yourself.
Yes, Matthias told me to do that.
Yes, okay. Thank you, Barbara. So this is the old, yeah, and this is it. And I hope people, you enjoyed and learned something new from our presentation. And before you go, I just wanted to mention a little bit. So thank you for joining this meeting altogether. And then just at this meeting, I mentioned to a group of people, but not everyone, But if you think that we did a good job, we are asking for you the support because Barbara and I are at the point we are getting the call to go back to our birthplace. It's kind of like our life mission right now that we have to do. And if you can support us, we gratefully appreciate to receive your generosity. This is the option you can find. If you'd like, use a PayPal. You can use my email address, ami.godsgate@gmail.com. And if you don't like to use the PayPal, or some countries don't have the access to the PayPal, so you can use other methods. This is actually the fundraising page that I used when I was manifesting my Egypt trip. So this page is still active. So I'm just gonna reuse this, recycle this. So when you go in, you already see some amounts, but if you don't like to use the PayPal, you can use this GoFund.me site, and here's the number. And I guess I can, oops. Yeah, just gonna, sorry, put on this chat box again. Yeah. And so, and then the reason is that, or actually Barbara, I didn't say this. So the Barbara is from Argentina. She was born in Capilla del Monte. And that's where she's trying to go back to permanently, actually. So we like to help that manifest for her as well. And for me, I'm from Japan. I'm trying to go back to my birthplace, not permanently, but for a while, because my parents still live there, and they're getting old. And my mother has Alzheimer, and they're 82 and 83. And my dad looks after her on his own, and I haven't seen them since way before pandemic. So I like to go back there and be with them for a while and help them out. So if you could support us, both of us, going to go back to our birthplace. I'm sure that energy is calling us right now to be there soon. So we'll be greatly appreciated. So thank you so much.
Thank you in advance. And thank you, Ami, for bringing this up.
You're welcome. Okay, so this is it. So I'm just gonna stop the recording now, and then you can, let's say bye to everybody, and then you can go or stay for a chat. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Lupe.
Thank you.
Okay, and then you can stay for the party after this if you like. Okay, I'm just gonna, where is the stop recording? I can't find it. Oh, here. Recording. Okay, stop recording now.